And we're live, man. I'm going to tweet out and we'll get started soon. We're going to tweet out this week. Yeah, it doesn't work over there. And we are live. Give us just a second. We'll start our briefing soon.
What's your Twitter handle?
At WXTREY.
That's right. There we are. You want me to run your graphics?
What is that?
You want me to run your graphics?
You're fine. You're fine. You guys can step up here too.
You're doing a great job. Can I stand? Can I step up here with the logo on my shirt? Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. I didn't know if that was against.
I'm going to tag you in this tweet.
You've done it in front of the camera a few times.
You know, it's Monday. It's hot.
Hi, everyone who's watching so far. The discussion, what we're going to discuss today is the life-threatening heat wave that we're expecting this week throughout the Mid-South. Starting with today, our graphics are not that good today, but starting with today, we can tell you right now that we're going to see life-threatening heat in the seas, with heat in the seas ranging from anywhere between 100 and maybe 110 in value. This is going to last. This heat is going to be prolonged through at least the weekend. So that's what's going to make it really, really dangerous. I have Matt Laubin here with me from WTVA News. He's
I'm doing a little shadow today.
Yeah, a little shadow. He's here in the office with us today, and he's doing a shadow. And we figured we kind of have one of these with him since he's a professional at this. And we're learning from him. We're learning a lot from him, and he's learning a lot from us. So it's a give and take, and he can help me out a lot with this kind of thing. So back to discussing the heat. The heat is going to be the main threat over the next week or so. It's going to be a prolonged period of heat. And if you must be outside, you want to make sure you stay hydrated, especially in the daytime. You want to avoid all outdoor activities, at least for this week, until the sun sets or late in the evening or afternoon when the heat index is actually gone below 100 or 105 degree threshold, whatever the threshold is for the activity that you're performing. Me, myself, I coach football in the evening, so we're going to pretty much hold off until later in the evening once it cools off. So we want everyone to take that model and do the same. It's not worth it because it's going to be very dangerous. 105 heat index is very dangerous to be outside in for a prolonged period of time. And that's what we're expecting for a week. This is not a 1 or 2 day thing like we used to be in the Mid-South. This is so dangerous because, like I previously stated, this heat is going to be prolonged through our whole forecast period. We're expecting highs in the upper 90s and heat in the seas above 100 degrees. So with that said,
the tricky part, like we noticed today, the heat index crossed above 100 in some spots. I mean, 10:45 a.m., 11 a.m. or so. That's really early to be that hot. It's not, we're not talking the traditional heat of the day, 3, 4, 5 p.m.
Exactly.
It's a longer duration.
It's a longer duration in time of day and a longer duration in days. So if you have any yard work, you want to get out right as soon as the sun rises. That's been the coolest part of the day so far with actual daylight. It's going to be very hot during the evening, like we've stated before. So if you have yard work, anything you must do outside, you want to try to get it done before 10 a.m. because the day is the first day of this heat wave, almost. And like Matt stated, in Memphis especially, it gets hotter quickly with all the concrete buildings and the black roofs and everything in the city. It gets hot really quickly during the daytime. So you want to get out get inside under air conditioning before 10 a.m. And I'm not sure if you guys are covering that down here, but we're having some electricity issues in some parts of Shelby County.
That's going to get worse this week because,
Yeah, so.
well, I mean, so you guys have heat advisories now.
Yes.
There's a couple criteria that go into those heat advisories. It's not just, people think it's just the heat, but it's also the overnight temperatures to a certain extent, right?
Exactly.
On how low they don't get.
Exactly. So your house, but your house is not going to cool off that much at night this week. We're looking at nighttime lows near 80 degrees. So if you don't have air conditioning, it's really going to be a problem. Your house is not going to get that cool.
Well, and here's the deal. You mentioned power issues.
Yes.
Now you're not just cooling it at the heating of the day. You're cooling it all night and not catching up.
Exactly.
And so power issues are probably, I mean, you never know if they're going to get worse, but that's not something that gives less strain on the grid. So, consider not running the dryer during the middle of the afternoon, anything that draws a lot of current. And honestly, and this might sound crazy considering it's hotter and you want to be cooler when it's hotter outside, you probably want to take your thermostat up a couple of degrees. Couple of reasons: it'll take less electricity on the system, and at the same time, it will put less stress on your specific system, so it doesn't freeze up, and now you have nothing to try to cool you.
Yes, exactly. But worst case scenario, you lose electricity. So what are some things you can do? You think if you lose electricity this time of year?
Honestly, make friends.
Yeah, make friends.
That might sound crazy, but if you lose electricity, at the same time, think about other people that maybe live in your subdivision, your neighborhood that have lost electricity. Think about the elderly. But yeah, obviously fans. You want to do that. You want to try to seek shade. You might go to Walmart and just do some browsing to cool off for a little bit. Just to give yourself a chance, give your body a chance to. It takes a lot of energy. And heat's a major killer.
Yes.
That it's one of those killers we don't respect.
Yeah, we don't respect it.
You
can't see it.
Well, you see a tornado, you hear tornado warnings, you go hide because oh, that kills a bunch of people. But you don't. It's hard to directly attribute, hey, heat caused this death.
Exactly.
And over this stretch, next few days, that's what we're looking at.
Exactly. A few other tips if you happen to lose air conditioning. Local governments, they have cooling centers throughout neighborhoods. Some local governments have cooling centers. So you kind of want to know where these cooling centers are, or you want to know your contact for local government. Another tip that I actually found out this morning from reading some material on it is take cool showers. If you're really hot and you lose air conditioning, take cool showers. Don't take warm showers anytime that you may need. Stay out of the sun. Wear loose, light-fitting clothing. And like Matt alluded to earlier, you want to check on your elderly neighbors. They can't handle the heat like a lot of us can. So you make sure you want to check on your elderly neighbors and even your young kids in the neighborhood who may be outside playing. Give them a glass of water or something, because kids are going to go outside and play regardless.
Well, they won't realize that they're overheated until it's too late.
Exactly.
I had when I was in college, it's not just kids, it's young adults too. When I was in college, it was a similar situation to this, and heat index was really high, and I was done. We played tennis all day. And I got to the point like I had serious heat exhaustion because you don't respect it. So you think, okay, elderly, you get it. But even youthful people need to really respect it the next few days. This is extreme for what we usually see.
Right. And football, I know in Tennessee and Mississippi, they've started back football practice, or at least football workouts. And the peak time for football practice and football workouts is going to be at 5 or 6 this afternoon during the hottest time of the day. And some kids may already be in helmets or shoulder pads, and that even adds to that level of heat stress that could happen. So you want to make sure you hold off on that for the practice until later today or later in the evening after the sun sets a little bit.
One of the tricky parts about this kind of heat versus you hear a heat index 105, what have you, and then you hear what they have in like the desert Southwest where it's a really, really dry heat. Your body tries to sweat. It produces perspiration as a way of cooling itself down. Well, with the kind of heat indices we're talking here and the amount of humidity we have, the level of moisture, the sweat doesn't evaporate. Thus, the way your body cools itself, not malfunctioning, it just doesn't work efficiently. Exactly. And so your body stresses out trying to cool itself, and it can't. And so that's why this is, this isn't 115 degrees like some folks in the Southwest see, but this is extremely stressful.
Yeah. Like you said, it's the heat coupled with humidity, which is it's going to make it so dangerous. And we haven't had a heat stretch this long in a few years in the Mid-South, where we're expecting temperatures right around 100 degrees for at least a week. It's been at least a few years since I've been here. We haven't had heat like that. So it's going to be a first-time experience for a lot of new transplants in the area also.
I know a lot of folks, and I hear this a lot in the community. They say, "Well, it's summer. Of course it's hot."
Yeah.
And yes, of course it's hot. That's true. But when you start having anything above a heat index of 105, you're really starting to stress out the system. You know, electrical system, your house, your body, your pets. And remember, pets. You have to make sure that they are adequately hydrated, that they have some kind of shade. And you know, if you have a particularly furry pet that doesn't do a good job dissipating that heat, you need to make sure they're inside with you.
Exactly. Another thing we want to stress to you is beat the heat and check the back seat. If you don't leave your pets in the back seat of a parked vehicle, and especially don't leave your kids in the back seat of a parked vehicle. It doesn't take long at all for a parked vehicle to become deadly this time of year. Well, with heat in the upper 90s, it could reach 140 degrees in there in probably about 5 minutes or so parked in the sun. So, and that's deadly even for an adult. So please don't.
One thing that I do this time, and this is just to remember the kids in the backseat. I have 2 kids, they're small. You can either take off your shoe, leave it in the back seat with them, because as soon as you step out of the car without your shoe on, you probably realize something's up, or put your phone back there to keep you from texting and driving too. But something to make sure that you're forced to go back in that back seat.
Exactly. Well, we've been on for about 5 minutes now, and we're gonna kind of wrap it up here. But I hope you picked up a lot of things from us in this short period of time. And remember, just to run through, if you're feeling kind of funny, please take it easy. Take it easy if you're outside and feeling funny. Even if you're outside, take it easy. There's no need to overdo it if you're outside. Wait into the evenings if you have to do yard, late evenings or early mornings. Anything you want to conclude with, Matt?
I think you nailed it. And of course, stay with the Weather Service Memphis.
Yeah.
They're going to be updating this as we go through it. And there was also a few thunderstorms out there.
Yeah, there's a few thunderstorms today. So you probably want to see a thunderstorm.
That's the only way
you usually don't want to see a thunderstorm, but in this type of weather, you want a cooling thunderstorm in the area somewhere.
Yeah, that rain cooled air makes a big difference.
It makes a big difference. So remember, beat the heat, stay aware, and know your body. If you're feeling tired, please find air conditioning somewhere. Thank you guys for watching, and thanks, Matt, for joining us from WTVA. And I hope you enjoyed it.